Imagine being denied a government tender, not because you are underqualified, but because someone more influential got it. Now, do you have any particular platform or authority to appeal against such grave injustice? Presently, you do have it for sure. And you must thank to this case that happened in the year 1979, named as R.D. Shetty versus Airports Authority of India case. So guys, you're watching Study IQ IS English. My name is Pravin Mishra, and today we are going to discuss about what actually comprises the definition of state under Article 12. And can a private entity working as a public organization be considered as a state through Article 12 or not? So the history goes long with 1970s when India was actually grappling to define actually what comprises to be the state or not. Well, Article 12 explicitly doesn't mention private entities to be the definition of the state. And here arises the question that can a private entity performing the government functions be treated as a state and made accountable for violations of fundamental rights? Well, this was the big question. And so here comes the R.D. Shetty case. What is the case? First of all, let me tell you. The Bombay airport in 1970s issued a tender where they wanted some restaurant owners to bid for it, and whosoever will be getting the tender will run a restaurant within the Bombay airport. And the eligibility criteria were at least 5 lakh rupees of the annual turnover with 2 to 3 years of minimum experience in running a restaurant business. R.D. Shetty was someone who was highly qualified within these eligibility criteria. But when the tender got opened, he didn't got the tender, and someone who was not even qualified enough, that is simply who was not even eligible enough, got the very same tender. And this thing was seen by R.D. Shetty as grave injustice, as violation of his Article 14, as well as violation by the state against the individual freedom as well. Hence, as a result, he approached directly to the Supreme Court of India under Article 32. And now here is the key legal question. Can a private businessman like Shetty go into the court and challenge the government or a statutory body's tender process under the Constitution? Well, the answer is yes. And Supreme Court had to decide two bigger questions here. The first question was, what actually is the definition of state under Article 12? And second, can private bodies performing public functions be held accountable like the state? And here comes the Supreme Court's judgment. Supreme Court propounded two tests here, two different tests to identify the actual meaning of state. The first one is the state control test, and the second one is the functional test. State control test as in how much control exactly the government exercises over the entity. And second one is the entity performing a public function of importance or not. So these are basically the two tests. Test 1, that is the state control test, and test 2, that is the functional test. Okay. And in case the answer says yes, if in case the both questions are answered with yes, then that one particular private entity will be considered as a state under Article 12. So simply speaking, here are the features that we must understand from the perspective of our prelims as well as mains. The first thing, private doesn't means beyond the constitutional scrutiny. Second, even if a private body executes public duties like running an airport, seaport, etc., or issuing tenders on behalf of the government, as you can see the word behalf of the government, fundamental rights can be applied. And finally, the most important part, the court expanded the scope of Article 12, strengthening the citizens' accountability mechanisms, right? So this is what happened through the R.D. Shetty versus International Airports Authority of India case, 1979. And the most important line that you must keep with yourself regarding this case, even if you do work of the state, the Constitution watches you. Even if you are not formally part of the government, whether you are part of the government or not, that hardly makes any difference. But yes, if you are working on behalf of the government, on behalf of the state, you will be considered as a state. Okay, guys, so I hope this is all clear with regard to the case R.D. Shetty versus Airports Authority of India case 1979 and the definition of state. Remember the tests, the functionality test as well as the state control tests. These are the two things that you must have always in your mind. Okay, everyone, so this is it with regard to this session. And remember, if you are a serious UPSC CSE aspirant and eyeing for the examination 2026, then our fast track IS English batch is here for you. Commencing from the date 17th of October. What you will get in these batches is 1000 plus hours of live lectures, access to recorded lectures, 18 sets of printed books sent to you at your doorstep, along with teachers' personal class notes shared with you at the end of the session every single day. It also includes your prelims test series, your mains test series, your interview guidance program, 1:1 mentorship program, as well as the mains residential program as well. Technically, 75 plus tests for your prelims, 15 plus tests for your mains, and multiple mock interviews for your personality test. So guys, quickly enroll yourself because we are already into the mid of the month of October. Your prelims is scheduled on 24th of May 2026. So we are just exactly on the bottom line with regard to our time limit. So guys, quickly enroll yourself using the promo code PRV Live. So if you apply this promo code, you will get the maximum possible discount on the subscription that you are availing. That is right now just rupees 7,999 only. And don't worry if you are not going ahead with the proper purely English medium batch. You want a English medium batch, we have got that as well. And we have got a purely Hindi medium batch for you. And for sure, English is there as well. Guys, quickly remember the batches are going to commence from 17th of October. So you need to enroll on or before that. And before you leave, guys, please hit the subscribe button of our channel, Study IQ IS English. And in case you wish to connect with me with regard to the availability of notes, PDFs, quizzes, PYQs, and further discussion, here is the QR code of my Telegram channel named as Praveen_Study IQ. And further, you can also join me on my Instagram, that is with the username Praveen Mishra_2107. Okay, everyone, thank you so much for joining. But please do hit the subscribe button and never miss an update from the channel. See you soon in the next video. Bye bye. Good day. Take care. Jai Hind. Jai Bharat.